Welcome to this video on graphing inequalities. We're going to start our discussion of how to graph inequalities by first remembering how we graph on a number line. Let's start by graphing x equals 2. It's not an inequality, but we'll get started with that. To graph x equals 2, we just go to positive 2 on the number line and put a dot on it. Let's also remember that when we graph an equation or an inequality, we're graphing all the solutions to that equation or inequality. Which means that right now the number 2 on that dot means that 2 is the only number that makes x equals 2, that equation, true. 2 is the only value of x that makes that equation true. Now let's graph x is greater than or equal to 1. The only values of x that make this inequality true are the number 1 and every number greater than 1. So we put the dot on 1 and then we draw another dot on every single point that's greater than 1. Well, of course we can't do that, so instead we make a line. And we put an arrow at the end to show that it's not just the 1, and it's not just the values that you see on the line, but it's everything above that up until infinity. Now let's graph the solutions to x is greater than 1. Since I did the first example in green, I'll use orange for this one. Also, since the green line is already covering the black number line, I'll draw the orange line above. Actually, I'll draw it below the number line. So we know that every value greater than 1 is a solution, so we can start by drawing a line. But how do we show where that line starts? If we put a dot right at 1, it will mean that x can equal 1. And since it's x greater than 1, it cannot equal 1. So how do we identify that? Instead of a dot on the 1, we put an open circle on the 1. The open circle means not including the 1. And the line means everything greater than 1. Also remember that we need to have an arrow on these lines to show that the values can go on forever. The possible solutions can go on forever. Let's also look at x less than or equal to 4 and x less than 4. X less than or equal to 4 is in yellow. It has a closed dot on the 4 and it goes to the left, showing everything below 4 can be a solution, as well as the dot meaning that the 4 can be a solution. And then x less than 4 has an open circle on 4, which means that 4 is not included in the possible solutions, but the line and the arrow show that everything below 4 up until infinity can be solutions. So now you know how to graph inequalities. In our next video, we'll look at compound inequalities. Thanks for watching this video on graphing inequalities. Please subscribe to my channel and leave your comments below. See you next time.